My butt's falling asleep and I'm hungry, so we gotta hurry this up.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Words Are Hard show, where we randomize topics and then talk about them, and then you watch it, and you know how it goes.
And you laugh.
Yeah, let us know any of the topics you want to hear in the comment section below, along with a request, as usual.
We'll see what we can do.
Boom! Today we're going to talk about, how appropriate, we're going to talk about raging and anger. This topic was specifically thrown in there for Alex because I had recently been playing, not recently, I've always been playing some video games with Alex, but more recently we've been playing a very nerve-wracking video game that we've mentioned before called Rust, where basically you work your ass off to try to survive and try to build up inventory of things and build a base, and people come along and demolish it and steal everything, and basically if you run into somebody, you're starting off from square one.
They crush all your hopes and dreams.
And your skull.
And your soul.
So it's a very, very, very nerve-wracking game. And all I remember is being on Skype with Alex, and yes, he does get like if he finds something, all I'll hear is or just very like expressive. But I remember one time specifically when I was, especially last night actually. There was some precursor to the rage, but anyway, I remember once when I was sitting there and I had actually logged off and Alex kept playing because I was doing something.
Were you on call or something, maybe?
Yeah, I think it might have been a work thing. But anyway, I was doing something else, and all I hear from Skype is, fuck, shit, fuck you, you fucking ass.
Oh, yeah, I remember
and then,
this
like,
story.
a bunch of hits and stuff and, like, banging around, and I was like, what the hell is going on? So, I mean, Alex, that's sort of what prompted this topic. I wanted to talk about nerd raging, I guess, what makes you tick, what makes you mad. There's certain names that Alex doesn't like that we know of. But anyway.
What is that?
There's
I can't
so Rust is
on
one
it.
of those games where, because of the nature of like how you play the game, there's I will break you. Because of the way that you play the game, there's other entities that can kill you, like bears and wolves. We'll get to the big thing there in a second, but the players are the big enemy and like the big threat in the game, because they're all fighting for resources and trying to have the biggest stockpile and the most impenetrable base.
My favorite is the fact that when you first start off, you're totally naked. You have a rock and a torch.
You have a rock and a torch. You find yourself on a deserted island, and post-apocalyptic, presumably.
Yeah. So my favorite part is when I'm sitting there playing and Alex dies and he starts back up and all I hear is, "No, don't kill me, I'm naked." Really? Fuck
Fucking
you.
really?
Fuck you. You're just gonna kill somebody with nothing, huh? Fuck you.
Yeah, there's like once in a while they'll feel bad and they'll pick me back up and I'll immediately hit them with the rock and then they'll kill me again, which is great. It's like basically when you get hit, you get wounded and then you get killed after that if you are wounded for long enough. And for me, it's just I get pissy, just like, come on now. If it was a good shot like from really far away, I'm like, all right, I'm okay with that.
That's fair.
That's fair. Yeah, it's like.
But
all
if
right.
Alex is like brand new, totally naked, has nothing on him, and somebody kills him, loses his mind.
I will lose my shit.
See, I'm probably just as bad. I, as you know, used to play a lot of World of Warcraft, and I used to play on some PvP servers, and nothing irritated me more than the campers.
Yeah.
So when someone kills you the first time, if they kill you just in passing, that's fine. I could usually let that go. But it's the people that would kill you and then stand over your corpse and wait for you to come and respawn, because in World of Warcraft you have to run back to your body to respawn back into the world. You run back to your body, you respawn, and then they take you out again. And they just stand there. I had guys that would stand and do that for hours at a time just because they thought that... And these are high-level players coming down into low-level zones, because there's no way in hell you can fight back and do anything about it. There's just no point. So as soon as they start to attack you, if they don't one-shot you, you might as well just stand there and die.
Greg, you're getting red. You're getting red.
It's so frustrating, and
Was there any like item penalty for like if you died? Like if you didn't go back to your...
no.
Okay, so it's
If,
not like
if you die normally in World of Warcraft, then your armor would take damage and stuff like that. But
sure,
they didn't do that for PvP because they know there's assholes like that will stand there and kill you repeatedly.
Yeah. So I mean, it's like RuneScape, bring back the wild, where you would have like a maximum of 3 items that you would keep, right? Like your 3 most valuable items, I think, is how it would work out. So like in Rust, if you die, you lose everything that's on you. Like if you don't have anything like stockpiled, then you are fucked. So I mean, if you're going out hunting for people, like make sure you bring the bare necessities to be able to do the job, or make sure that you're terribly OP. But even then, in Rust, the bow or the crossbow can take out, fully geared people like from far away. If you headshot them like twice, then they're fucked. Like get wrecked, scrub. Like you're done. So I mean, I rage. Video game rage makes me rage harder than anything else. There's road rage, really, but video game rage is something else entirely. Because I know I should be better at this game, but I'm not. And I mean, I barely like you'll barely see me ever blame lag for something. I mean, mainly because I do have a good internet connection and I don't have to really deal with that. But when there is lag involved in how I died, I'm like, well, that was probably the fucking lag. Just start freaking out. With Rust, though, when we first started, there was the attack helicopter, which we've mentioned several times, the story of our first encounter with it. But then there's times like where you're like, shit, I just got all this shit. I'm gonna try to make it back to my base. It's fucking dark out. I can't see shit. Well, the attack helicopter is probably nearby, so I'm gonna take off all my armor. And then guess what kills you? A fucking bear or a goddamn wolf.
Oh my god!
Like it's like it's dark. All I see is like this big figure coming at me, and like the thump, and then you get killed immediately by a bear. It's like fuck.
Alex is running in the dark, and all he hears, and he goes, "Are you fucking kidding me?"
It's like, I mean, or right now where me and Mike are living at, we're on a Canadian server, and Mike's run around for like hours trying to find a place that isn't covered in snow. And we don't know if it's some sort of sick Canadian joke where everything is covered in snow. But
you're supposed to have a mix of like there's a snowy like sort of biome and there's like a forest
and a desert,
field,
and like but in the desert you'll get thirsty sooner. Which will make you lose health. You'll have less health overall. Yeah. But in the winter biome, even if you're at full health and full of thirst, which is normally what will help you regain health, if you're cold, forget about it. So because right now everywhere around you is -6 degrees or lower, you'll basically die of exposure within 10 minutes. Yeah. Even if you're at full health. Which doesn't
seem fair.
So last night Alex was continuously dying from exposure, and I built this base up on top of like this rock mountain like peak, so that if you leave the door, you have to very carefully run along the rocks because less likely that people get up into the base. So Alex is like, he's died a couple of times from being cold, and he's like all pissed off. He's like, "Here go find my fucking body again," and he walks out of the door, and all I hear is because he like fell off of the rocks, and he goes, "I fucking fell. Great, I fell." And
12 health. I fucking fell. I'm fucking cold.
The thing is, when Alex is yelling and raging, he's mad. When Alex suddenly goes like quiet and passive aggressive, that shit has hit the fan, because he'll suddenly just be like, "It's fine.
It's fine. It's fine. No, it's cool. It's fine. I'm fucking cold. Just fuck."
But I remember, like, there's certain people that I can't be around when they get mad. I used to have this friend that I used to play the game League of Legends with, who would
That's
rage.
probably the worst game for raging.
He would rage so hard.
Oh my god, I know who you're talking about.
Oh yeah, and I went over to his place to play once, and I had my gaming laptop, and I was sitting there playing, and we're sitting in his room, and he died, and like every time he did, he was like punching his keyboard tray, right? And so like his keyboard tray was eventually hanging.
Is this
off.
someone we used to work with?
Yes.
And
anyway,
he used to punch his keyboard at work too?
Yes.
Okay.
It doesn't matter. Anyway, so he moves his keyboard and mouse up on top of the desk. anyway, we lost the game, and he got so mad. I watched him stand up, and he punched his desk into like 4 pieces. He just started punching his desk,
straight
and it
up,
started
yeah.
falling apart. And he got mad because his desk fell apart, so that made him even more mad and punched harder and harder. And he basically just stood up and demolished his desk with his bare hands. And I just went, "I'm gonna go home." Whoa, why are you leaving? Because this is fucking...
Yeah, you need anger management.
Like I'm not just gonna sit here in this toxic little environment.
No,
and
exactly.
deal
I
with
mean,
watching you.
that's
just
like League of
fucking-
Legends is another really toxic game too, though, right? Like you get people that are just raging.
Yeah. Well, we used to have this team.
Sure.
It wasn't really a team. It was just the people that would get together to play. And like I remember it was me and my buddy Cody, Dennis, Garrett, and Kyle. And everybody had their certain positions in the game, and Dennis's position was to use the tankiest character with the most health so he could not die that much, because he couldn't play the game, had no interest in learning, and he was our keyboard warrior. And he basically stand around, he had so much health that by the time, like, before he would die, like, we would get to him.
Yeah.
So he was pretty much bait, and he would just sit there the whole time talking shit. And there was like...
That sounds like a perfect role for me if I ever play the game with
yeah,
you.
so we literally had him just doing that role for us. Just he was our little keyboard warrior, and he would just, and he was good at it too.
I was supposed to
And
say at least effective, right?
So he talked so much shit in such a way that he would always get responses out of them. And there were some points where we'd see their character stop moving because they're typing out a response, and we'd just get the kill.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So that was his literal position on the team. It was like, all right, you're going to be the tank, you're going to be ADC, you're going to be jungle, you're going to be support, you're going to be keyboard warrior.
You're going to be the smack talker.
We're like, just pick that one. Like we'll just make him like super tanky.
That's
awesome.
I want to do that now.
I mean, maybe
Yeah,
play
but-
Smite with 3 people.
What?
Play Smite with 3 people.
Well, you could do
Smite's
three.
another League of Legends type of game.
MOBA.
MOBA, thank you.
Yeah, those games are real bad for stuff like that. But is there any times that you guys remember raging outside of video games? Nerd rage is one thing.
Nerd rage is one thing.
I know I have, but I can't think of a specific one right now because I tend to get angry.
Didn't you say that you punched through a window
Yeah, but I told that story already. That was when my sister locked me out of the house.
and you raged enough to punch through a window?
Yeah, well, I need to get in. What else was I gonna do? Just stand there until she unlocked it or my parents came home? Screw that! I'm gonna punch through the window and let myself in.
What else would I do? Be reasonable? No.
I'm not gonna be reasonable.
That's the thing. Like,
Look who you're talking to. Think about this.
in the when you're working in IT, there are situations that make you rage because you're speaking to people who should know better. Yeah. I was in a different position at the same company, but there was one 21-year-old woman who didn't know where the space bar was on her keyboard. And I described it to her. It's the biggest fucking key on the keyboard.
Did you describe it just like that?
I said, well, it's the biggest key on the keyboard, and she's like, I see enter.
What if you went over to her house
You
and she had...
described it wrong.
What
You
if
should
she
have
had
said
one
the
of those?
longest.
Yeah, what if she had one of those keyboards where the spacebar is like this big? And they do it
That's
this-
what I was picturing.
Or it's split into a couple different ones, and the enter key's like this big.
And that's the thing, right? So I'm just like, what the fuck is this? So it's like 20 minutes to try to explain where the space bar is. I'm like, how the fuck do you live without a space bar? How do you not know where this is? It's the one that makes a space
Spaces.
between words. No clue. I don't know if she was just new to computers or
I
what
used
it was.
to know
but-
people who didn't put spaces.
I
When
was
they
just gonna
wrote.
say she just would write a run-on sentence when she.
But then there's like the same situation where it's like an older couple, which I'm like, okay, that's fine. Didn't know where the enter key or the return key was, right? So I'm trying to get them to type in a web address, and I'm like, all right, well, now hit enter. She's like, well,
And Alex
what's an
will
enter?
not have them click go whatsoever.
No, so I mean, it was just so. I'm just like, the fuck do you mean you don't? So there's things like that.
Enter, return,
Enter, return, but then there was
arrow.
someone
Arrow,
yesterday that called in, and he's like, this one I was shaking because I was ragey. Guy yesterday that called in, I'm like, yeah, can I have your identification number? He's like, oh, well, I don't have that. I'm like, all right, do you have one? Yeah, I have it. I just don't know what it is. I'm like, okay, what's your name? So I look him up by his name, and I eventually find it, and I ask a few questions to make sure it's actually him. I'm like, okay, good. So what can I help you with? Like, oh, well, I need to swap this piece of hardware, and my sales manager said that I could just call you guys and you'd do it for me. I'm like, all right, well, that's not how it works, for one. B, there's privacy rules here that we have to follow. And anyway, I'm like, okay, so I walked through a few things to try to get him to at least plug the modem in, because he hadn't even had the modem plugged in. Apparently his identification number was on the onlines. That was the word that he used. Yeah, well, it's on the internet. It's there. It's the, it's. I'm like, what?
I just installed it. I don't use it.
Exactly. So, I'm like, so, do you even have them? Do you even have the hardware plugged in? Oh no, I haven't tried that yet. I'm like, so you haven't even tried to get on to get your identification number. So it's basically a whole series of just stupid things that one thing led to another, led to another. It's like, why the fuck are you calling me then? Like, I put the guy on mute, and it's only two of us in the center at the time, and I just yelled, I'm like, "Are you fucking kidding me?"
I really hope the other person that was in there with you wasn't on a call.
He wasn't on a call, no. He just stands up. He's like, "What's going on? What's going on? You're raging. This better be awesome." I told him. He's like, "Fuck that guy." This is like a caller that he spoke to nights before.
The description that you're giving of that reaction,
yes.
I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I know who you're talking about too.
No, it was someone. It was someone who hadn't called in a while. But there's.
No, we're talking about the other person that was in the building with you.
Oh yeah, no, most definitely, yeah. Now, as far as raging is concerned, there was one guy that used to work with us, that because he used to sit next to you. He would, as soon as a call would come in, he's like, "All right, please hold." Smash, smash, smash. Keyboard, smash, smash.
It's the same one he was talking about. Oh, another one.
Like, it was like he wasn't. It was like his phone would ring, and he would pretend like it was something that he wasn't there to do in the first place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You're there to answer the phone. He's just like.
He ultimately ended up getting canned for
Anger.
I think there were several issues that were there, but yeah, it was attendance. I think was one main thing, but yeah, no, just the fact that he was raging all the time, it was really off-putting for me. I know that one of the people in the same row made a complaint too to a TM saying he's like super ragey and like
I never went
he's
to
gonna
anybody
break
to
shit.
complain. I always turned around and I was like, dude, shut up.
Yeah,
Shut
chill.
the fuck up.
My customer is like freaked out right now. He thinks that there's like a war going on in the background. Like,
Yeah,
what the
I'm
fuck?
like, buddy, do you mind like not fucking around?
Yeah.
Anyway, how do you guys feel about people who rage out in public? Because, like, okay, guilty pleasure. Sometimes I go on YouTube and I watch videos of like people throwing temper tantrums or like kids
That
in
doesn't
public like
surprise
throwing
me.
tantrums. I just find it hilarious.
I don't really
know
see
why.
people in public like there's. It's kind of like the stereotypical like bitch haircut, like wants to speak to your manager immediately type thing.
Yeah, shorter in the back, longer in the front.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, with like on the side. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I saw one of those. Out in public bitching at someone saying, "I want to speak to your manager." I'm just like, this is happening right now.
Well, did you guys see that video recently of the girl who was in that restaurant and
Like there's like a
the
gay couple that.
no, there's just like a guy and a girl.
Oh, okay. So it wasn't even like a homophobic thing.
No, and
Weird.
she was like, "You're fucking that slut in public," and she was freaking out, and she's making this huge deal, and she's about to leave, and there's a huge lineup of people, and she's freaking out in public, and some guy goes, "Just leave," and she goes, "Fuck you! She goes, "You stupid immigrant! I'm American. Are you even from this country?" And everyone just went, "Oh, okay." It was one of those moments where they're like, "Okay, we get it now.
Yeah.
We
understand.
get what kind of person this is."
Yeah. What's funny is that it came out that she's a cam girl, I guess. Like she does like cam shows and like strips and shit online, and apparently,
She was
I heard this from Philly D actually, which is kind of funny. But yeah, apparently after the fact, there's a bunch of people that started going on her cam shows when she was streaming next, and was just writing all this shit like, "Go back to your own country." Just like, are you even American?
That's
It's just
awesome.
like
I don't know.
stupid shit.
Like sometimes I'll get off on these things. I won't get off on them. Sorry.
You're fucking that couch.
No. I'll get onto like the weird side of YouTube. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'll
It's
end
like-
up like watching videos of like this kid trashes a store while throwing a temper tantrum, and I watch it and I'm like, what an idiot.
Ever get on that weird thing of YouTube where it's like this, guy trashed a store, and then 3 hours later you're watching giraffe sex, and you're like, how did I get this far?
I always end up in bug fights. Everything ends up in bug fights. That's a different. Go ahead and check out bug fights. They're pretty fucking sweet. That used to be where we ended up before, but I don't know. Maybe it stems from, like, I used to antagonize my sister all the time. I think I talked about that before, and I would get her to a certain point, and when she starts to freak out, I just kind of sit back like, haha.
My sister, my sister just used to freak out in public, just straight up.
Your sister got into the car and freaked out because because there was other people.
Oh, no.
In the car.
From what you tell me, your sister still freaks out.
It used to be worse, where she would effectively, her voice would get so high that she wasn't even saying words anymore, and it was just like just screaming at the top of her lungs, like really, really sharp, and you can't understand a word she's saying. So you're laughing at her, which makes her more pissed off.
Yeah,
and it's just,
my favorite is when somebody throws a public temper tantrum and they get to that point where they scream so loud their voice cuts out, and I'm just like, there it is. Now we're getting somewhere.
it wasn't you. It was me. Me and a couple buddies went to Amherst to pick up booze, because some booze you can't get here in the province. And on our way back, we're gassing up, and there's this guy that I swear looks like a former French coworker of ours, and he's just flipping the fuck out because I pulled in front of him to pump gas, and he gets out and he's like, "Hey, why don't you fucking move your car there, eh?" But I guess, wow, that's a terrible French accent.
That
anyway,
wasn't French.
No, that was like half hoser, half native, I guess. Anyway, so he's just like this French fuck is just pissed off because I pulled up in front of him, and he's just like calling us out. I'm just like, he's like, why don't you move? I'm like, pick the gas nozzle up and stick it in my car. He's just like, fuck. He gets it back into his in his big truck and trailer, and just I'm like, this is weird. Looked like the former French coworker, but a lot more hateful. Like a lot of hate there.
I love.
He can get hateful.
I don't know. I love road ragey people too. I mean, I don't because they're dangerous, but at the same time, I'm just kind of like, I get pissed off on the road, but like if somebody cuts me off, I'm like, what the fuck, you stupid cunt, and then like I just move on with my day.
Oh, I got so road ragey.
I hunt them down and run them off the road.
I got so road ragey that I ended up recording a video and then putting it on Facebook, like a PSA for Fredericton. Learn how to fucking drive. If you don't know how to use a fucking traffic circle, just look at the fucking signs that are up at that are 500 meters leaving it to each way. What the fuck, Fredericton?
Lessons learned.
Lessons learned. Fuck Fredericton drivers.
This is what it's all come
My
down
lesson
to.
learned is I think Queer Leger needs some.
I will break you.
Issues. He needs to get it dealt with.
Lessons learned. Apparently, Greg doesn't let go of unfunny jokes, and Alex gets pretty pissed off easily. So stay tuned for his candid temper tantrum video.
Fuck.
Hey guys, thanks for watching that episode of the Words Are Hard show. Let us know in the comments below what makes you angry. As well, we want to see your topics for discussion, as well as something you want us to do if we pull your topic within reason. We still have all our social media links below. We have the Facebook, the YouTube, well, obviously YouTube. We have Facebook, Instagram, all that fun stuff. Make sure you click on that, check that out. We're still selling our merchandise below. Get something with our face on it. You know you want to. If you want to subscribe to us, click on that link over there between Alex and Mike. If you want to watch our previous video, click on this link here between Mike and I. Thanks for watching.
Fuck!